some good old common sense from Claire and Amanda in just a moment, but one other thing you just got to see. Have a look at what happens in this shopping centre car park in California. There's a Christmas tree strapped to the roof of a parked car. Another vehicle pulls up and the driver unties the tree and he pinches it. Yep, he pinches the Christmas tree. Imagine taking that home to the family. The Christmas tree that you've stolen. What a hero dad. And they say we're losing the spirit of Christmas. It's a wonderful world, all right. Let me bring in Claire Rowe and Amanda Rose. Oh, look, one without notice. That's just shocking, isn't it?
He's not going to tell his family he stole that. He's going to come in as father of the year. They're going to see it on TV. He's going to, well, that's true. He's going to say, look at the tree I got you.
Exactly.
He's the Grinch for the family who's lost it, isn't he?
Exactly. Well, I'm told, we can't confirm any of this, but I'm told that the store they got it from has replaced it for free. It's in California. There's pine trees everywhere. Just go and cut one out of the forest. Yeah, shocking.
He's time poor. It's this time of the year. What are we saying? Time
Give
poor.
it a rest.
Just shocking. Now, I'm very keen to get both your thoughts on the education results in this country. They are shocking. We'll go to the psychologist expert second on this one. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Amanda? The amount of time kids are spending on electronic devices, on TikTok, on Insta and all the rest of it. A lot of people are saying this is actually dragging their education backwards.
Well, it is, because essentially it's an addiction, right? And the problem is, at the beginning it was great, it was fun, it was very convenient as well to keep them occupied. And then it's like, oh, you can learn online, but, you know, they go into a game or something on there that they're addicted to and they can't stop. And then when parents try and take it off them, or schools, I've heard of school teachers try to take them off, and they just get enraged and they scream and they can't cope because they've become so reliant on it. And really, I mean, I believe that we need to have an entire class dedicated to going outside and planting vegetables and seeing the trees and actually talking to people and going back to what we did when we were at school.
Yeah, but you still do that. You can't blame it on schools, right? It's parents. Why are parents just allowing their kids to have all this screen time? And why aren't they planting veggie patches with their kids and whatnot? Some are, of course.
Because they're also addicted to their phone.
Ah, you're onto something there.
It is, you know, Amanda's right. It is an absolute addiction. And we've been saying this for years. And I'm really sick of the blame on COVID entirely for kids' mental health and academic standards, because the reality is this has been going on for 10 years and the difference, the way we approach parenting, the way we approach teaching our kids, the lack of discipline in our classes and screens. And we've had, you know, we have bred this kind of generation there that don't really have any mental toughness. And we didn't see COVID coming along. And then COVID hits. And now, you know what, Chris, they can't bounce back like previous generations could from their adversities. They do not have the ability, but it's not essentially COVID's fault.
So there's another aspect to this too. You know, I know scientifically this doesn't quite stack up, right? But I like to think of your brain as like there's limited capacity. That is, there's opportunity costs. Some information you stick in there prevents other stuff, right? So bear with me on this.
100%.
If you're filling your brain up with the Kardashians and what's happening on Farmer Wants a Wife or whatever, that's stuff that's being stored away instead of the world capitals or 100%. How plants grow.
No, there is a bandwidth in our cognitive ability. You're actually right there, Chris.
Well,
that's actually been proven.
That's because
Who knew?
And actually, one of the other things that's interesting is that it has been, you know, research shows that we actually do not have a ability to multitask. We think we're multitasking, but when we're doing multiple things at once, as kids are doing on a phone with the TV, with everything going at once, they're actually rapidly switching attention. Or so are we. That's what we do all day, right? We're rapidly switching between topics and screens, and that has an impact on our attention and what we can actually absorb.
Yeah, I mean, gee, if you sit down and read a book from start to finish rather than break into Kardashians or reality TV and all that stuff, it's a whole different experience. Now, I want to talk a little bit about COVID and working from home, because the way Claire's explained it, Amanda, makes a lot of sense. It's not just the kids, it's the parents, the whole family dynamic. And now, of course, heading up Small Business Women Australia, you are into the flexibility of working from home. I think we all understand that. It's a great thing that families can have that flexibility. But where it's overdone, where people are copping out, the public servants or the ABC, people just working home because they can, it kind of sets a bad example, doesn't it? That the whole family just spends the whole day stuck in front of a screen, doesn't get up, get dressed, get into the world and meet people and do things.
Well, we make a good point of getting up and getting dressed. You should be doing that even if you are working from home.
Oh, people don't.
I know, but
that.
they should. But it's interesting because what it did is that if you're a bad employee, you're a bad employee either in the office or working from home. So really, it just magnifies that they might be lazy when they're at home or take advantage of it. What I don't like is the burden that was placed on women in particular during COVID when it really started, where they were trying to homeschool as well as either work from home or run a business from home. And I remember being in meetings, online meetings, and all men, and they were saying, "Oh, we've come into the office because we want to get away from having to homeschool." So the women were totally burdened with that. So if anything, I always encourage hybrid learning. Get out and mix with people some days and then work from home others. And that way there's a balance. You can save on travel time when you work from home, spend some time with the kids in the afternoon, but also you need to get out there. You need to mix with people because you might miss out on opportunities. You're not networking for clients. So it's, it needs to be balanced.
I think you're right. I think that sort of balance, that sort of hybrid works. But the trouble is, Claire, I think the people who most need that sort of balance are perhaps the ones who are just going to cop out and not do
if
it.
it's left to them, absolutely. No, I completely agree. And as a small business employer myself, absolutely, to make things appealing these days, I've got to give people flexibility. But most people aren't coming to me saying they want to work from home now as a psychologist, telehealth online full-time. There is actually a little bit of a turn to say, actually, we want to come back into a bricks and mortar clinic. Thank goodness, because I want my stuff back in my office. But they do want, can have 1 or 2 days a week at home. But you're right, those are probably people who are fairly, hopefully they're psychologists. So hopefully they have some self-awareness. Hopefully
some people skills would be handy.
Hopefully. But the people who actually need to be in the office at least a couple of days a week are probably the ones who would prefer to maybe work, hate to say it, OH&S from their bed on their laptop with their pyjamas on.
That's
just very quickly, Amanda, cost of living, a lot of pressure coming on the supermarkets. They're not doing enough to help us. Is that a fair call?
Well, yes, and I'm glad that there's a select committee happening in the Senate about this. And it's interesting because Coles and Woolworths have come back knowing they have to speak, and the language they've used was pretty much, we're going to explain to the Senate how business is run, and that if we make this money, we keep the employees going. I'm like, hang on a minute, the primary producers are being squeezed. You're charging the end user a lot of money. You're making a lot of profits.
People at the checkout anymore.
You're making a lot of profits. Don't say you understand cost of living. It's all about money, and really you've got to follow the money. It comes down to how much profit we can make the shareholders happy. Nothing to do with the people.
It's a free market as well, right?
But is it, or is it a duopoly because the two of them run it?
Absolutely, it's supposed to be a free market, but
there is a bit of a duopoly
going there because that's all we've got.
Yeah, that's all we've got. Yeah, and we've got some little corner shops. Shop at them as often as you can to keep them going. We all could do better there, I think. Thanks for joining us, Claire and Amanda. We'll catch up again.